On February the 1st we celebrate Imbolc. This equates to the Christian festival of Candlemas, and it's also a festival of light. Many Druids associate it with the goddess Breed, who is analogous to St. Bridget. She's the lady of poetry, the fire, the forge, and of healing. She is a goddess of many aspects, and the swan and the snowdrop are sacred to her. Its name is supposed to come from the word for ewe's milk, which seems appropriate since this is the time of year when many new lambs are born, but we don't really know. It makes a little sense, however, because the Celts were, after all, a tribal, agricultural people, and their herds were important to them. The spring equinox falls on March the 21st, often called Ostara. Our practices focus a little on the point of balance, on the idea of balance, because this is a time of year where the day and the night are of equal length. But we also celebrate hares and eggs as well, just as other people do when they're looking at the festival of Easter. The name Ostara is supposed to be that of an ancient goddess, but she's mentioned only briefly in the writings of the ancient Bede as the deity of a river valley in Germany. In modern paganism, however, the hare is often used as her symbol. These beautiful creatures have long had an association with witches and with magic, because in medieval times, practitioners of magic were able to, in legend, turn themselves into a hare, and they are creatures of the moon. On the 1st of May, we celebrate Beltane, the old May Day. This is a festival to celebrate love, and, let's face it, sex. Many people choose to undertake a pagan wedding called a handfasting at this time of year. Now this day is taken to celebrate summer and the return of the long warm days, the return of fertility. But in centuries past it was also said to be a time when the veils between the worlds were thin and people could contact the dead, as we now do at Samhain. On the 21st of June we celebrate the summer solstice, midsummer, when we celebrate the longest day and the shortest night. As we know from Shakespeare, it also used to be a time when the fairy world visits the world of the mortals, and nowadays it's famous for being the time when Druids gather at Stonehenge to celebrate the return of the sun. If you watch the news at this time of year, you'll probably see some footage of Druids gathering at Stonehenge, ready to celebrate this special time of summer. Lammas, or Lughnasadh, is the name of the festival that falls on the 1st of August, and this is a festival of harvest. It's often held to be the time when the god is sacrificed. If you think of John Barleycorn in the old song, and how he goes back into the earth to rise anew and feed the land, you'll have some idea of the principles behind that. And it's also, in the olden days, associated with the Celtic god Lugh, also known as the light bringer. And finally, we celebrate the autumn equinox on the 21st of September, another day of balance between day and night, just as the spring equinox is. And this is the point when the harvest is gathered in, and we begin to wind down into our winter hibernation and to think once more about Samhain. So that's the Wheel of the Year, the 8 festivals. Druids also like to honour the 4 elements, and in our rituals, these are connected with the 4 points of the compass. In the east we honour air, in the south fire, in the west water, and in the north we honour the element of earth. So, Terry, being a Druid in Avebury, what drew you to it?
Here? Oh, lovely little story. 1958, I was 10 years old, going to scout camp in an ancient old Bedford bus, crawling along at 30 miles an hour. They tipped us out of the bus and chased us up Silbury Hill to stretch our legs. What do they call it nowadays? Deep vein thrombosis or something?
Something like that,
yes.
Yeah. Yes, health and safety.
Health and safety, that's right, yeah. So and then we drove around, we had a little walk round, we got back on the bus and went off to Gloucester. I don't remember the scout camp, I don't remember, but I remember being here, because I asked the scoutmaster, I said, why did they build this place? Who built this? And he said, Pagans, Druids. What, 1958? You didn't mention the word pagans and Druids. Not to your religious instructor teacher, like I did at school when I got back. That was a very silly thing to do. He went for me. And I thought, oh, I found something interesting. And the only information I could find, because there was no books then. All right, you could say, well, the ancient order were there, but they were an old manuscript that didn't want a 10-year-old boy being interested.
Sure.
So the only information I could find was in the Oxford Concise Dictionary.
Okay.
Druids were the priests of the Celtic peoples. And of course we were doing history at school, and they taught us that there was nobody in Britain before the Romans got here. They were all savages.
Yes.
Excuse me, they built these wonderful places.
Yes.
And then the argument was, or the discussion was, or the thought was, what were they built for? How do they work? If they work, how do they work? And why do they work? And what good was it to anybody? I reckon I'm somewhere near the answers.
Okay. So would you like to tell us a little bit about Avebury, just as a...
It's a clock, and it's a lunar prediction centre.
Okay. So it's connected with the moon?
The moon and the sun.
And the sun?
Yes.
And other planets as well?
Well, it
Possibly.
picks up... Well, you've got to remember, the stone we're standing in front of is the centre, because it's the lunar observance, but it's not anywhere near the middle. The ring of stones around the outside edge are a giant elliptical shape. So if they knew that the moon didn't follow a circle round Earth, then, and they were able to try and figure out why, because they were interested in the lunar cycles, because it enabled them to dramatically improve their agricultural crop yield.
Yes.
With subsistence agriculture, which was the move on from hunter-gatherers, there was a dramatic increase in population because they could feed more people.
So we're actually standing in a very sophisticated, precision piece of engineering.
Very much so.
And what would you say to anybody who is interested in becoming a druid? What advice would you give to the young, to the curious, like yourself years ago? What would you say to them now?
Well, at least you've got books to read now.
Yes?
Don't read them.
Right.
Come and get some dirt under your fingernails by experiencing it.
Yes.
Because the various rituals that have evolved are all hours of the day and night. Tonight, today, now, is Imbolc.
Yes, it is.
Witness of the return of fertility to the soil.
Yes.
Yeah? It's midnight.
Yes.
And it's the 1st of February.
Yes.
So it ain't going to be sunny and shiny and lots of people and bands playing or anything like that.
Yes.
It's going to be hard work. It's going to be cold.
Yes.
I've been here at -6 centigrade. Usually I'm young. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
If I say I felt the energies raising and people come along and go, God, blimey, it's good here, isn't it? You know.
What do you think it is that attracts people to the modern druidic path?
I could say cynically, there don't seem to be any rules.
Oh, right.
I could say cynically, you sort
Yeah,
of make it up as you
it's-
go along.
it's,
But it's not quite like that, you know,
A
because...
spirituality for individualists.
Yes, yes. It is, particularly Britons are notorious rank individuals at the best of times.
Yes.
Yes. We have tried to put ourselves over to the Europeans, and they're very slow to pick up because they tend to think differently. But when you explain how these places work and what they're used for, they go away and create their own interpretation.
They do. And Druidry is popular throughout the world now.
Very much
We have
so.
druids throughout the States, throughout New Zealand, throughout Europe. And what do you think it is that draws them to it? This is its ancient heartland, and yet it's spread out throughout the globe.
We are able to live free now. We're not controlled by the church as we were.
Yeah.
We're able to see over it, an overview. And there's almost 2 generations now who've had almost no religious education. What was it somebody said to me in Spain? They've got 9 churches to every Catholic priest or something.
Yes.
One of these odd statistics that makes you think
Yes.
and realise
Yes.
how the average young person is not getting any religious education, so they're able to think freely. And so what did the ancients do? The old people, our great ancestors, the ones that weren't written about.
This is a modern age, an age of technology, an age of the internet, an age of the Wi-Fi and the Wii, however you pronounce it. Now,
This stone here is 70% quartz crystal.
yes,
This has more quartz crystal in it that powers computers than NASA's mainframe computer, the biggest computer in the world. Just to help you think.
I was going to ask you, in an age that is so technologically oriented, and you have just answered my question.
Yes,
because I was going to say, what draws the young people to it? What draws?
When I tell them that, they go,
yes.
because this transmits and receives,
Yes.
and this has been transmitting and receiving for 5,000 years.
Yes.
What we can debate, we can challenge ourselves as to try and think, what's it telling us, or what are we telling it?
So we're standing here in Avebury in typically British February weather, I have to say.
It's a glorious day.
It is.
For February.
Yes, and it is the 1st of February, the Feast of Candlemas in the Christian Church, and for us it's the festival of Breed, of St Bridget, of the goddess Imach.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, where do we start? Oh, it's the first of the threefold fertility rituals. First one, this one, is the witness of the return of fertility to the soil. Snowdrops, daffodils, catkins, snowdrops in my garden.
Life coming back.
Life coming back to the soil. It's also the period just after birth, where up until very recent times, a very, very delicate time, because some cesareans, there were no blood transfusions, and a lot of the mothers were extremely weak.
Yes.
The babies were often born in a terrible physical state.
Yes.
They didn't survive. 50% death rate before the age of 3.
Yes.
So this period is elation at the birth around Yule,
Yes.
but also thinking about the loss.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
But there's an aspect to this side that we're all quietly forgetting. Valentine's Day.
Of course.
Well, you think, that's some modern Christian festival. No. From autumn equinox until spring equinox, the doors of the roundhouses and the longhouses were kept shut.
Yes.
You only came and went when you had to. You kept the door shut. And the rest of the other 6 months of the year, the doors were kept open. The young girls were blossoming. The ugly ducklings became young ladies.
Yes.
This festival is the only festival of the eightfold cycle of festivals that is entirely lunar and feminine. There is no solar aspect to it. That's why we're in the moon circle. Yeah?
Yes.
So it is honouring the female, because the poor female that's just had the baby that may have lost it needs her spirits lifted.
Yes.
The young girls who've been stuck in the longhouses and roundhouses, basket weaving and making fires and doing all the tasks, needed a chance to get out.
Yes.
And they are young ladies. They're going to want to see if there's any young men out there now.
Yes.
Now they've blossomed. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And this is the time of year, because Valentine's Day is the ladies, excuse me.
Yes.
It's not a male ritual.
No.
This is where the lady says, cool.
Yes.
Oh, he's all right. You know?
Yes.
But ladies aren't blatant like that.
No.
They are subtle
Yes.
and wise.
We hope.
We hope.
Yes.
Yes. So the Valentine's card is invariably sent by a female who's not signed. It's for the man to figure out who sent it. That's where the mischief comes in, you see.
Yes.
So of course it's come from the ritual, where the blossoming young girl maybe wears purple ribbons in her hair.
Right.
And the man of her dreams, who may be the other side of the circle in the dark, because it's held at midnight, the ritual, she will make sure that somehow there's a purple ribbon tucked in his shoe.
Okay. So you mentioned that this was the first of 3 fertility festivals. What are the other 2?
Well, you've got to remember, you see, that when the Romans came to invade this country, we put it out that we were a sacrificial-based belief system. As a terror campaign.
Right.
Did the Druids not sift through the entrails of their captives?
Yes.
Not a terror campaign.
Somewhat.
Oh, no. We hid. The Beltane stone in the other circle over there was put down by the Druids. I believe that the main stone at Stonehenge was put down by the Druids, so the Romans wouldn't figure out how we worked, because we were fertility-based.
I see.
The second ritual, after this one, which is around the spring equinox, the day of spring equinox, is the ritual of witnessing the return of the cycle of fertility to the animals. It's when, roughly the time when sheep are born, cattle are born, the lambing season, the cattle, that sort of thing. Yeah. So that's the second level. It's another excuse for feasting, because there'll be lambs that die and we won't have wasted it. You know what I mean? And there'll be cattle that will die in birth. We won't waste it. And the third one is Beltane, May Day.
Yes.
Where the maidens come out, dance around the maypole, and hopefully the stupid sod that you fancy actually figured it out that he's been fancied and
actually
takes you off and does something about it.
So those are 3 of the festivals of the year. What about the others?
What about the others?
Yes.
Oh, we've got the solstices, where the sun stands still twice a year,
yes.
midsummer and midwinter, and we celebrate the death of the sun at the summer solstice and the birth of the sun at the winter solstice.
Yes.
And there is the Lochosnar, which is the first of the harvest, where we celebrate and give back to the earth the very first and the very best.
Yes. Harvest home.
Harvest home. It's not the harvest festival in as much as where the modern perception of it is we celebrate, we give thanks for the harvest we've got. We give thanks to return the first of it to the soil. When we have a ritual, if we pass meat and bread around the circle, we all give the first back to the earth.
Yes.
Honouring the earth that has provided for us.
It's actually in the same tradition as keeping the last sheaf of corn that's cut to return that.
And we get to the last of the rituals after the autumn equinox, is where the solar energy, we give the energies of the sun over, which take over from the spring equinox, and we give it back to the moon at the autumn equinox.
Yes.
I do the 12-hour of the exact day from dawn to dusk, witness the cycle of the sun, because I perceive that's how they would have done it.
Yes.
And try and observe. That night, we bring the energy back here, so from the sun circle back to the moon circle, thereby leaving us clear for Samhain.
Indeed. And what happens at Samhain?
What doesn't happen?
Yes.
We honour the spirit of those that have gone before. We try and make it an annual event in as much as all those that have passed on in that part of the year.
Yes.
But there are people who've been forgotten or have become very more influential after their passing that we honour again and again. And we know that a loss of a direct relative takes you a minimum of 3 years to recover from. So you pass that person, in fact, your mother was passed on, it's 3 years.
Yes.
You come and honour that mother in ritual. We turn the spirit, we do the ritual at midnight, in the dark, at the sanctuary here at Avebury, which is a mile and a half away.
Yes.
No light, in the dark, we stand shoulder to shoulder to keep the spirits in. No singing, no jokes, no serious. This is serious. Every single person gets a chance to honour and respect, and you mention only the best of that person. You put the spirit into an apple, and the apple goes into the centre of the circle. Yes. And if you look at it afterwards, you realise it's communal grieving.
Yes, it is.
We realise that it's your father or your mother that's gone, and you realise we get over 200 every year.
Yes.
They're all everyone's experiencing a loss.
Yes.
It hits everybody differently, but it ends up being a communal. So it's psychological repair.
Yes. A lot of people are going to look at us standing here before this ancient standing stone. You in your robe, me in a cloak, and they're going to say, is it necessary? Do you have to dress up to be a druid? Is it just bling? Is it fun? Why do we wear what we wear?
Why do we wear what we wear? There are 3 levels of robes for the druid, working druid. The green robe is for the initiate stage, those who are investigating the place.
Indeed.
The blue robes are those who are working in the bardic and ovate levels. And the white robes are those who open themselves to politics.
Aha.
For conjectural debate. So you put the white robe on, put it on purpose.
Yes.
Rather like the judge puts a wig on.
Yes.
You know, you are fulfilling a role. I was told to put robes on by the Archdruid Tim Sebastian for a television shoot with Rory McGrath, and it was extremely great fun. And so many people said, Terry, why didn't you do that years ago?
Right.
I said, because I was wishing to observe. When you put the robes on, you are then expected to be the knowledgeable one and the one in the centre.
Yes.